So this is going to be a very strange piece of news, but it's one that I'm actually very positive about. I want to hear Tristan's take on this because I feel like it's going to be positive too, but I do want to know if you think there might be any like negatives or like any kind of issues with this. I don't know if it's a problem from like a moral perspective, but I mean like in general like what could go wrong. I guess I do want to hear your take on it, Tristan. But first, I want to announce what it is. Studio Trigger, behind many anime, one in particular, Kill la Kill, and I believe they were also behind Little Witch Academia as well.
Yeah.
Yes, they launched a Patreon page, which if you don't know what a Patreon page is, I think what you got to do, right? You got to do some research on this, don't they, Tristan? You got to research what Patreon is. Go to patreon.com/tgproductions, and there you'll be able to see what a Patreon is and what a Patreon actually does. That's our plug for the goddamn. I feel so slimy. And it's really warm because we're in July, but that made me feel it's a little bit more slimier. But
Okay.
I have no problem promoting it at the end or at the beginning, but like doing it just like smack in the middle there, it was the perfect time. Okay, so but enough justification for my own miserableness. Anyway, so wait, cut for a second, Tristan. Oh, never mind, we're good. Sorry. But anyway, so we just cut there for a second because I had to take a bath. Anyway, so I had to shower away the sin. But yeah, so all jokes aside though, Studio Trigger coming out with a Patreon. Patreon, if you don't know, it's not like Kickstarter at all. So Kickstarter, what that's supposed to do is, and other kind of platforms like Kickstarter, they're supposed to fund a product or some kind of, not a service, but like a product as in, if we were creating a DVD for those guys' play seasons or for our reviews or something like that, right? If we were creating a DVD, we would probably go over to Kickstarter or Indiegogo to try to get that thing funded. Because that's what we were trying to provide a product, and we need help to get it funded. And with that, you could provide anything, right? You can provide not just the product, but you could also provide a signature or a DVD credit, both in the DVD itself and on the DVD, like a leaflet or something like that, right? So there's a lot of things you can do with a Kickstarter that you don't really do with Patreon. The Patreon, if you did go check out our Patreon, which was kind of a half joke but actually kind of serious, because I do want you to see, guys, for some of you guys who don't know what Patreon is, to see how one is set up. With Patreon, it's a bit more give and take, right? So it's, hey, it would be nice if you gave money to us, if you donated to us and kind of helped us out, but we're also going to give you something in return. So on our Patreon, and I'm not even trying to plug here and being legit, it's, hey, depending on what tier you give to, you could actually say, Matt, Tristan, I really want you guys to talk about this topic on your newest episode of Keikaku Corner. It's one that seems really cool. Would love for you guys to talk about there. Hey, here's a Q&A section either for Keikaku Corner, or we could have it on those guys play, depending on what it really entails and what it involves. So also you can have us do specific Let's Plays. Like, if you really love Tristan and I doing Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for some reason, you can be like, no, I really did like you guys doing it. It was so much fun. You guys were, you guys weren't having the best time, but it showed that you guys were being very honest and genuine with your reactions. I want you to play more Dark Moon, and depending on what tier you give to, we'll play more Dark Moon. You can be considered a sponsor. You can be considered a, we can give you guys a shout out of some kind. So that's what Patreon is usually about. Giving something back in return for, giving a little bit of cash here and there. So some people give behind the scenes. Some people release their YouTube videos early on Patreon. So patrons actually get videos earlier than other YouTubers, other YouTube subscribers do. Interesting things like that. They got the same videos, but a little bit earlier. Which I might consider, but also it's very tough to even put out the videos that we do, how we do it. So adding Patreon onto it, that would really stress me out even more. So, but what matters though, Tristan, is that Studio Trigger is doing this. Is it, like, what do you think about it? Because I have no problem with it, but do you think it's a problem maybe because they're too big? Or, I don't know, like, what's your take on them having a Patreon?
I mean, I don't really see, like, it's not a problem to me. A lot of people seem pretty on board with it.
So then you think that if the fans were, having a big issue with it, not that it would be a problem with you, but you'd understand maybe think the company should reconsider.
Yeah, either that or it would just, like, the company would realize no one's going for this, so they just would end up shutting it down probably. But
Right.
it seems to be kind of a way they want to touch base with more fans and also get out more merchandise and even just different content. Because they've stated how they've had, merchandise fall through and stuff like that because they weren't able to sell enough and things like that.
Okay,
and even
so
just
yeah.
having a little bit more for the, people running the studio. Because the way I think of it, like, I know, like, Trigger's a decently big name, but they're certainly not Viz or Funimation.
Well, remember though, Funimation doesn't actually make the anime.
Yeah.
Just not. I know you know that, but I'm saying to some fans out there that like might not know. But with Viz, actually, technically even Viz doesn't. But like talking about like Madhouse. Madhouse is a good one. Toei makes their own stuff. Yeah, you're right. They're definitely no Toei. For Toei, making their own anime, making 4 or 5 anime at a time. Toei doesn't even have production committees, dude.
Right.
Like other anime companies, they get 5 companies together. One takes over distribution in the U.S., one takes over this, one takes over that, and they split the cost because I know you know this, Tristan, because we've talked about this before. But for some of you guys that don't know this, anime in Japan, so making an anime in Japan can cost $50,000 per episode. USD. 50,000 USD per episode. You gotta split that cost somewhere.
Right.
So, yes, it is a way to give a little bit more to your favorite studio. My thing, though, is that I'm kind of interested in, a little confused about, is I feel like they're... Like, look, when it comes to a Patreon, and even a Kickstarter too, arguably, you want to have good reward tiers.
Yeah.
Do you think their reward tiers are worth it or no?
I mean, because they have pledges for $1 and $5 a month, and they get access to, different files of, different artwork made by arguably one of their favorite studios. I think that's appropriate.
One moment, Tristan. I just need to... Oh, fucking God.
Matt has died.
Matt's died of Patreon. If only you donated to the Patreon.
Oh, God.
It just becomes one of those shitty, if only you donated.
Right.
You get a celebrity on screen to support one Matt a day.
Oh, dear God.
You see me in a kennel, like one of those dogs.
I don't know whether I'd be sympathetic or horrified.
The answer is yes. Always yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 3. All right. 3, 2, 1. So you're right. You're right. They do, like, you are getting some decent stuff, and it's not like the tiers are like $100 or something like that. I think it's just, you know what it is? So the way they describe their tiers, and if you guys don't know, it is linked in the description box below, but we'll still talk about it right now. If you support $1 or more, you're a Trigger supporter. We're grateful for every bit of support. You will have access to high-resolution .jpeg files from our live drawing session. So what's interesting is the live drawing sessions seem to be happening regardless as to whether or not you donate to the Patreon. So that's nice, seemingly. Like, I seemingly, it doesn't seem like it's like, oh, if this Patreon doesn't go well, we're not having live drawing sessions. Now, if you donate $5 or more, you're trigger happy. That is objectively funny.
Yeah.
I think it's so you're trigger happy at $5 or more, and they said perhaps you're a budding animator or maybe an extra generous individual. Have access to our .psd.ai clip studio file with the layers untouched from the live drawing. That seems really fucking cool. I'll admit it is nice, but it's not like you can use those in any way. Like, I don't think people will be able to make those their profile picture, or I mean maybe they can. I don't know. Like, it doesn't, I don't know what usage it extends to you.
Right.
Other than, granted, you're happy to have it, I'm sure.
Right.
But it's not like, I don't know, like, are we going to see a bunch of, like, Studio Trigger, like, fans releasing like, you know, fan animations due to their, like, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess it's nice for a budding, I guess because I'm not a budding animator, to me it seems nice, but I like Kickstarters, or I'm sorry, God, Kickstarters. I like Patreons that can give a little bit more. Now I don't know what they could give, to be fair, because they're too big to try to have a tier that would have, let's say, us be credited in a production. They're a bit too big for that, because the tier would have to be hundreds of dollars, right? Because here's the thing, right? I know some YouTubers bigger than us, but still not like PewDiePie level, that'll say, hey, donate $10 to my Patreon and I'll give you a shout out on my channel.
Right.
Or donate $100 and I'll give you a shout out on my channel. Or I think Little Karibo, I think it's 100, it might be more, 100, and you can actually do a Let's Play with him and upload it to your channel.
Right.
Stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that is optimal. Like that is something I would enjoy, because it's not just getting something physical from it, it's also getting a little bit extra, right? Because that's why we try to give you guys, you know, not just something a little bit early, even though I think that's a good method. It's not just early, you get something that, you know, wouldn't have been made unless you guys came in and said, no, we really want this to be made. Now, you can comment in the comment section below as well. I listen to comments, I really do. But also giving a little bit more to show, like, hey, listen, no, I really want this. Especially because we don't get that many comments. And when we do, it's usually on the content of the video, not future content that people want. So when we usually get comments now, as of this recording, it's never really, oh, I would like you to do this. It's only happened once, and then I did the video, because I was like, that's actually a very interesting topic. That was over at Those Guys Play channel, and I ended up doing a Matt Rants about something that someone suggested in the comment section, right? But usually, that's not the case, because people are just saying, great video, or terrible video, or you should go die in a ditch. And I'm like, great suggestions.
Which we love those too.
All of those are hearty suggestions. I'll take maybe one, if not two of those.
If not all of the above.
If not all of the above. But,
and if you don't have the Patreon page, you can get a video just...
Jesus H fucking Christ. He'll get a video, I'll film a fake me dying in a ditch.
Okay.
Like, depending on what tier they donate to, we can buy a blow-up doll or something.
That's true.
But anyway, so, what has our channel become? What have our channels become? But no, I feel like with a Patreon, you know, I don't understand that stigma against people trying to make a living. Now, you could argue, but this is a company, this isn't a person. I can hear you there, but I don't understand the anti-people trying to make a living through Patreon or through other means like a Kickstarter, right? Not every company is, and even then when becoming a company, right? Technically, you could call us a company. Are we Funimation?
No.
You know what I mean? Are we even Studio Trigger?
No.
Also, no. Yeah, so, like, you can call us a company, too. But if we had to create something, we're going to use Kickstarter, right? That's just how it is. If we're going to create something, we're going to use Kickstarter, unless it's, you know, free video online, in which case Patreon is just a little bit extra. It's just a little bit of an extra income. You can still have a job and have a Patreon. You don't have to not have it's not one or the other, right? People online all the time, I hear people going, get a real job. They probably do have a real job.
Yeah.
I have a real job. You have a real job.
Yeah.
We have jobs, right? It's just that on the side, we're like, you know what would be nice? If the stuff that we do on the side also gets us a little tiny bit of scratch, you know? I mean, even looking at this, right? Let's look at how many people, because there are people online that are like, no, you're getting duped. People are literally giving $1. Yes, it's managed to make $7,400, $7,400. It says per month, but anytime, half of those people could cancel.
Right. Yeah.
So, literally, next month, half of them could cancel, and Studio Trigger can get literally half of that.
Right.
So, frankly, and also looking at how many people are patrons, only 2,349. You know, it's interesting. You would think more people for a company like Studio Trigger.
Yeah.
Especially with those low tiers. But I think for some people, they're just like me. They're like, you know, I don't know, I would maybe want a little bit more. If you introduce like a $10 tier and I can get my name at the end of one of your videos.
Right.
Or you can, you know, maybe a $10 tier, and I can get a little Studio Trigger button
Right.
or a pin. Like I know some YouTubers, Metal Jesus Rocks, who's a gaming YouTuber. He, I believe, if you support his $20 tier for 3 months, I think that's what it is. He sends you a metal pin, like a large metal coin with his insignia on it, and you can be like, hey, you can show up at cons and be like, hey, got the coin. Right, so like other YouTubers do stuff like that as well.
Right.
Either pins or coins or buttons or things like that. Should we do that? Comment below. We might have a tier just with a TG button. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think people are getting duped. I think it's okay. I think that it would be nice if they offered a little bit more. But to be fair, with the tiers that they currently have, with $1 and $5,
Right.
I think they're offering enough.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think it's also going to grow a bit now too, because they've mentioned
because we're talking about it.
Oh god.
Clearly, that's what we do here. We help these.
They also mentioned in the article that once the studio hits 1,500 USD per month, they'll start a live streaming drawing session with one of its animators and illustrators. And granted, they've expressed that this is something on the side, so they may not always get to do these streams, but they will try their very hardest to make it a stream each month. And at the time of this article, which was on the 7th, they had 112 patrons with 506 USD per month. And looking at the page now, it's over 2,000 patrons, and they're already over 7,000 per month.
Yeah, no, like I just mentioned, it went from so low to that high.
So, like,
I should
within a few days, I think there are a decent amount of people that are very interested in this and want it to continue.
Right. And thank you for correcting me, though, because I do have to admit, sadly, if they don't reach 1,500, then technically, like, I don't know, like, in a weird way, I feel like, now that you've mentioned this, thank you for correcting me, because now it seems like I want to add that I feel like they're kind of, in a small way, using Patreon wrong. And what I mean is, hear me out, Tristan. What I mean is with our Patreon, we don't say, donate to this so that one day we could maybe do this. That's kind of how you use Kickstarter. However, they're not offering a physical product, so then it wouldn't make it to Kickstarter. I just think that, what if they don't make it to 1,500? Anyone this month, their money has been taken by Studio Trigger. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Tristan. If people donate to our Patreon, we can set our goal, and we can say, hey, our goal is this. And that's cool, right? Like, one of our goals is to have our Blog Talk Radio account secured per month, right? I've been paying it along with Satish Ram. We've been, co-paying it for years now, once per month. It would be nice if we could just end up having a situation where, due to making money through either ad revenue, t-shirt sales, alongside Patreon, it would be nice to at least have that cost covered.
Right.
So at the very least, we're not even making money. We're just not losing money.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? So when it comes to this, however, to say, oh, it's per month, you're going to pay this much, and if we get to 1,500, then we'll do the live streaming sessions, well, then you can't argue that you're providing anything yet.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like, granted, anyone who just wanted to give $1 just to give $1, bless their hearts.
Right.
Right? They're not actually, wanting anything in return.
Yeah.
But to the, I want to see how many hundreds of people. I want to make sure here before I, start going off here. For the, that's interesting. They've reached their $1,500 goal.
Yeah. And that $1,500 goal was just to set up
it's from
the prepping equipment for the stream. So a PC, a tablet, camera.
So it's for last month and this month then, I guess? They got enough? Because for 1,500, let me see here. Oh, you know what happened in my brain? So everyone's going to call me an asshole and a fucking idiot. To be fair, we are recording late, so I understand. For some reason, 1,500 turned into 15,000 in my mind. And I was like, why you need that much, bro?
Yeah, no.
1,500. Of course they fucking reached it. I'm an idiot. Right. One thing I want to mention, though, is I still want to see how many people did the $5 goal. 1,217 people. So 1,217 people are trigger happy.
Right.
Cool. And 1,116 people are trigger supporters.
Right.
Yeah. Are you going to be a Trigger supporter? Like, let's ask that question. Are you going to be a Trigger supporter? Are you going to be Trigger happy?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? I'm happy it's growing, and this should grow. And frankly, I would love to see one of their live streams in the future, but I don't know if I'd support it.
Right.
Thus far. Depending on how they might change things. Clearly, they're making enough money to support the live stream and more. So, I mean, we can see. I mean, I think it's good that they started small. They're like, let's start very small,
right,
and let's see where this goes. Right? The $1,500 was met. They immediately, by far, and yeah. So either way, we'll see where this goes in the future. I'm happy for it. I'm still supportive. I'm especially supportive despite the fact that I just majorly fucked up there. Yeah. So that's on me though, and we'll see how this goes.